All right, welcome to another evening sit down with Scuba and the
Right.
guy.
That guy.
Yeah, it's another week, another conversation.
Conversations of hooplas and mama jammas.
Oh yeah, loads of it, loads of it. So, how'd your week go?
Our last week or
Yeah.
currently this week?
Well, let's see. We sat down last week, so
Yeah.
we've had 7 days. So
That's a lot
who
of counting.
knows what kind of shenanigans we get up to on those 7 days?
Shenanigans. Yeah,
So-
of all kinds of stuff. Well, last week we had a team outing at my work.
Oh really?
I didn't go to it because it was a dolphin tour, which was a fun thing to do, but
Oh, that's right.
I don't go on boats. I have motion sickness. I'll be just chucking over. But I did go to the luncheon because it's at one of my favorite restaurants, Waterman's,
Oh wow.
and it was orange crushes left and right. Lots of orange crushes.
That's definitely a good thing you didn't go on the boat, but maybe
no.
you could
Well,
have survived if you were.
there was people drinking on the boat because they were offering drinks. So by the time they got
Yeah.
to Waterman's, they were already halfway there.
Well,
Then they got more at Waterman's, and then they were nowhere there.
well, isn't that kind of why you always saw them with rum? It's like they could weave when the boat weaved.
Oh yeah, Captain Morgan, stand up, hey.
Yeah, I'm thinking more like Pirates of the Caribbean, where it's
And
like,
then-
why is the rum always gone?
And then on top of that, adding on top of the orange crush drinking, Saturday we went on our winery trip. Me and my girlfriend Angelica.
Oh, sweet.
We went.
How many wineries did you
It's
hit this
always
time?
numero 4.
4?
It's always 4.
Okay.
Never
I saw
gonna-
some of the pictures.
Oh yeah, we did. We hit up. Hadn't been there in over a year. We went to Central Virginia. There's a handful of wineries there, and one that is my favorite, which is Horton's Vineyard. And the reason it's my favorite, other than they have a good variety of choices of wines and really good selection of white wines. I like white wines, but they are different than most vineyards, and you could attest to this because you've been to a winery trip with me. When you go to a winery trip, you pay a certain amount, $8-10, and you get to taste 8 different wines, whites, reds, and maybe a dessert or a sangria.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to Horton's Vineyard, it's $8, not too bad. 10 wines, pretty cool, but you get to select the 10 wines you want to drink. So it can be any of the, any whites, any reds, any desserts, any yada yada.
Okay, so how about some context? How many options are on the menu to pick 10
There's front and back on the sheet, so it's about 20 plus.
Okay. So you had to pick 10 out of 20. So
Yeah.
two trips and you could sample everything.
Oh yes, but we hit up 4 vineyards, Horton being the top because that's my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other 3 was Reynolds Florence, which we saw a dog, a corgi. We took a lot of pictures with the corgi because corgis are awesome. Barboursville, which is a very pristine vineyard, but it's really nice. And then Huntley was the last one.
Okay.
Then we hit up a local barbecue joint driving back called
Really?
Barbecue Exchange.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it was delicious.
Nice.
We were just driving, and I was just like, "Hey, you want to eat at the barbecue place?" It's like, "Yeah." Made a U-turn and went back. So yeah, got me the
Nice.
brisket and the pulled pork. Best decision of my life that day.
No, well, you spent a lot of time sampling wines. They had to build up an appetite.
Oh yeah, it filled me up, but good. But the thing is that mac and cheese, that is straight up country mac and cheese, the good kind, the only kind you can fan out in the sticks. It's no Velveeta, but it's
Central Virginia.
It's located in Gordonsville.
Oh,
So,
okay.
right off of 15, so it's right in between Charlottesville and Richmond.
Okay. I think I've been near that area.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
been a while.
It's fun, and the one thing I sadly didn't get to do was go over the hill where I flew my Elantra the last time. I was thinking about it, and then I was like, nah, I don't want to do it. Let's just go drink more wine.
I can't say I didn't travel a whole lot. This past weekend was for me, and it was another big event at the airsoft field. But this one was kind of a big deal in the sense that they've had this kind of ongoing story all year, where it's like each month they do these events. It's like, okay, you have your red and your blue going at each other. Well, the red has been just dominating blue, And so this was the last one. If Blue could not hold out and complete and hold on to at least one objective by the end of the day, then they were done. They had been totally defeated by Red. So it was interesting. I mean, it was cloudy. It was cool. It wasn't as hot as we've seen all summer.
Oh yeah, it definitely is teasing us with some weather right now.
Oh yeah, the rain part can go away, but the cooler temperatures can definitely stay.
Yeah, rain prevents me from cutting grass, and the higher it gets, the harder it's to cut.
Yeah. And overall, the day went pretty well. There was obviously some usual stuff when there's some tension, but I have to say, kind of the coolest element of it, one of the cooler elements was Red just rolled through, and then they had one more objective they had to do, and it was hard fought to get there. Finally, at the 11th hour, the last 15 minutes of gameplay, and they pulled it off. So they definitely spent all day trying especially the second half after lunch, accomplishing this. It was a hard fought 3 hours. But there's a section where they had this going on, and it's this trail that's maybe 4.5, 5 feet wide. After that, it just goes into water, right? So it's narrow. You got two ends. Blue is on one side. Red's trying to come down, and they get taken out. They had to go back, and then they circled around, came back the other way, and finally got through. But while this is going on, one of us is standing there watching because there was a snake that had appeared, and it turned out it was a water moccasin.
Yes.
A younger water moccasin. It was about maybe 2-3 feet off the path, chilling in the water while all of this is going on.
Spectator.
Right? But obviously there's safety concerns, so we're watching it. At one point it's me, another guy, and another guy. The three of us are kind of taking up half the path watching this in case the snake decides to come onto the path. Then we got, safety. But what was cool is, one, I had never really seen a live moccasin, especially a young one.
Yeah.
Because it had like the patterning. But while we're watching it, right, it's kind of sitting there, and then it kind of moves. Next thing we know, it had grabbed another snake and proceeded to eat that snake while the battle was going on. I got a picture right here.
It definitely it wasn't starving for anything by a spectator.
No, but I did some research later. It's like the patterning fades as the snake gets older. So I thought it was just all like pitch black.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's the younger they are, the more pronounced the coloring is, and this one's fairly pronounced coloring, but it was doing that. We saw it had kind of held the snake and then turned around and started eating it, and it's like all this while we got both sides throwing BBs at each other, throwing airsoft grenades, or it's like they call them Thunder Bees because it's a CO2 cartridge. And when you pop the pin and toss it, it expels the entire cartridge in a small space. So it gets really loud. And it's like, the snake is just chilling here. Doesn't care. The grenades flying back and forth, all this stuff, all the shouting. And it's like, wow.
It's like, I got dinner. Let me eat my dinner.
Yeah, let me eat y'all dinner and a show. Y'all do what you do. Just,
keep on,
But that was really kind of the coolest thing. And then that night, a friend of mine got married. A pair of friends of mine. And
congratulations.
Yeah, they had their ceremony. I was going to go, but I ended up, kind of having some heat issues.
Okay.
Dehydrated or whatever, so I wasn't feeling good when I left. So I ended up crashing, but the family went, and it looked like it was a good time. So congrats to them, and I'll see them because they'll come over. They're part of one of my gaming groups. Plus, we used to work with them.
Yeah.
So back in the day when you and I worked in the same place.
Same place a while back. It's a while back now.
Yeah, and then Sunday we had our Agents of Short D&D group.
The only person missing was me, the king of the shorts.
Oh, we had a new player join us.
Okay.
He'd been he was trying to. His wife was like, "You need to go out and hang out with friends." I'm not saying that is a bad thing. It's just, sometimes you get so wrapped up in your work and working in your schedule, you don't have a lot of time for social. So it was like, getting him out.
Yeah, it's always good to find time to venture out.
And he was fun. He's playing a magicless hunter, and he's just got this kind of thing where it's like, why would you take trees and make boats out of them? I don't understand why. You're doing something wrong here. And he kind of pantomimes having a big old pipe. So I just see this gnome or halfling sized character. So, about 3'5", 4 or whatever, with a big like a hobbit pipe.
It's like just smoking it in and taking it all.
Just chilling. But it was good. We had that adventure. We got to where we're next time we get together, we're gonna explore a mansion, and that promises to be a very interesting adventure. But that whole weekend is going to be absolutely nuts because
when it comes up, it's going to be fun.
Well, we have 5 weeks this month, and
yes.
we have whatever. Well, the way the weekend falls is the first Saturday is when my son's friends come over, and I call it Teens on Parade. And I just had that whole thing where it's like, Rage Against the Machine, Bulls on Parade. I was like, no, this is Teens on Parade because they just it's
havoc everywhere.
But they're going to come over Saturday, and then that following Sunday will be the second Sunday, that's when Agents of Short gets together. So it's like I've got kids game, and then the next little over 18 hours late after that, it's the adults are going to play. So it's like, oh boy, we've got scheduling.
Combinations galore.
Which is good, but the Teens on Parade is going to be a new game, so I got to work on a new story. I can't use any of the published content because they tend to read it, and then they want a metagame, and it's like, oh no, we cannot have this.
We have to do it this way.
Yes. So far, I've got some basics on what it is, but I think I'm going to do a series of one-shots where it's just, here's a self-contained episode for the month.
Okay.
We'll do that, and then we'll attach them together. And if I can get the format right, then it'll be, okay, I have a night I can game. I'll put out, hey, I'm running a game. Who wants to come sit at the table for an adventure? And just have that way, because there's people like you want to join in on. I've got some other friends in other places. They're like, oh, you play Dungeons and Dragons? You DM? Ooh, can I play?
Yeah, I want to get in just to have some fun. I'm not the biggest knowledge of it, but I like to just have fun.
You don't have to be, and that's it's the character, it's the community storytelling, and
it's that immersion that would gravitate to me a lot more.
Yeah, I think what I'm going to start doing for my games that I run is, I think I'm going to start. I have a microphone I got that clips on, so it's a personal mic. I'm thinking I might record the audio from that just so I can help keep track in my head what's going on, because I know the Teens on Parade is going to get really elaborate really quick.
Oh yeah.
And if I'm going to run like some of the run where it's like, oh, we have multiple groups going on in the same world, how to keep track of where everybody is. So I think it'll be a lot of fun.
It does. Immersions in the worlds and being creative is a good thing.
Yeah, you can help out because you're a storyteller.
I am a storyteller.
So we can talk a little bit more about that. Try to lay out some story stuff,
in time,
improv and story out some stuff.
Add something else on top of what I've been writing. The romance story and the inspiration novel. Mm-hmm. On top of going to start writing for school stuff because I started back in school.
When's that start?
Already started.
Already started. Okay.
Did some assignments last night, so now I'm just going to ignore it until I have to do the next assignment. The only good thing is one class, so it's a little bit lax this semester.
No, I got one other story for interesting shenanigans, and that happened today.
Dun dun dun.
So, and you'll appreciate this because what we ended up doing is near and dear to your heart.
I need to hear. Let's open the ears to this.
It gets to be about lunchtime, and of course I bring my lunch like I usually do. A usual thing, And of course, today's lunch was very simple and plain and basic: peanut butter and jelly sandwich, a handful of trail mix, and some pork skins.
Okay. Simple.
So it's like not a whole lot.
Yeah.
You know, kind of meh. So I finish it, and I go to put my lunchbox in my Jeep, and as I'm coming back in, former coworker of ours, former to you, current with me.
Yes.
He's coming out the door. He's like, "Hey, go, turn around, go that way." I'm like, "Okay, what?" He's coming out. He probably wants to hang out or whatever and socialize. You know, it's cool. I don't see him much with all those new responsibilities and whatnot. But he's like, "I'm gonna finish this and then I'll need a ride to go to Subway." I'm like, "Okay, let me go get my keys." I leave my keys hanging on a hook. I don't carry them, right? So I go in to get my keys. As I come back out, he looks at me and goes, "Have you eaten yet?" I'm like, "Not really." "Do you like sushi?" I'm like, "I enjoy it." "Do you want to go to Volcano?" "Okay." Then we get in the Jeep. Start the Jeep up. Get to the entrance of the parking lot, and he's like, "You know, I haven't been to Yami Sushi in a while. So let's go there." It's like, cool. So
can't see it, but I'm giggling right away.
So it's like we roll over. It's this impromptu sushi expedition to Yami Sushi.
I can attest to that because I have done that a few times where I end up wanting to go to Volcano, and I was like, "No, I want to go to Yama's," and turn around and go up the street to Yama's.
But yeah, that was a funny little lunch adventure where it's just like, okay, kind of get caught up in it and have that. It's like, man,
sushi adventures are always good.
Especially Yama. Yama's great to go to.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely go get some sushi again now. It's gonna be on my mind until I get it.
Yeah, we just had some.
Yeah, that doesn't mean I can't go get some. It's always good.
Well, that was the interesting thing he was telling me because we were talking about it. It's like he used to hate sushi. He used to the whole concept.
Oh yeah.
Right. Until met his current wife.
Yeah.
And while they were dating, and she likes sushi, so finally he tried it.
Yeah.
And he just hit the ground running with it.
Oh yeah.
As he said, it's like he's all about going, but he didn't have many people to hang out with. And now the guy I usually go hang out with for lunch, he doesn't do sushi. So it's like I have a feeling this may become a more regular thing.
Oh yeah. And
not that it's a bad thing to have sushi.
Oh yeah. And then anytime I'm off, I could probably sneak down there with y'all.
Yeah, I'm always up for it. The stress level with my new job is just...
It's always a good thing. When you're leveled out at your job, you can just do what you need to do and focus on forward.
The team is hilarious. Like today we were talking and it was one of our team members had stayed up a little too late. Again.
Is it who I might be thinking of? Oh no, so it's not who I'm thinking of. Okay.
It's probably the person on the team you'd least expect. But they were overly tired today and it was just like, yeah. But they owned up to it. It's like, it's my fault. I don't know why I did it. I did it. Because he starts off with, I went to bed at 5, got back up at 6:30.
That's a little
really
too much there. If I stayed up that late,
a little sleep deprived, a little bit.
If I stay up that late, I'd just call it quits for the next day. Be like, I can't come in.
Well, that's kind of how we're like, yeah, get some sleep.
You can't function with that less sleep.
Yeah.
Oh,
you chose to do these things.
Yeah, if I stay up late, I always admit the next day it's my fault. I was trying to do something that I probably shouldn't have. Or it's usually the reason I'm up late is because I end up writing very late, and then you get zoned in when you're writing, and then by the time you look up, it's like 2 o'clock. It's like, holy crap.
Oh yeah, I've had that with my minis. It's like, oh, I can't sleep. I'll just start putting together minis. The next thing I know, the whole box is put together, and 3 hours have passed by. It's like, oh.
I just want to write one passage, and I end up writing a whole chapter. It's like, okay.
Well, passage, chapter, you get into that groove. It's just hard to get out of it. You just want to keep going.
Oh, yeah. That's why if I do play a game at night, I always try to play a simple game where I can just run around bashing heads and then go to bed.
See, I don't have any of those that I'm really interested in playing, but I did just download Forza 6 as part of Games with Gold for this month.
Forza 6 is on Games of Gold?
Mm-hmm.
Let me go write that
as
down.
well as Castlevania Lord of Shadows
I did see that.
for 360.
I did see that.
I grabbed that. You still got about 18 days for
Forza 6?
Forza 6.
Okay.
Because they tend to keep the Xbox One title through a little into the next
I'm
month.
really looking forward to seeing the Devil May Cry 5 the drop on Game Pass, because I know it is going to drop on Game Pass soon.
Oh, Gears 4 was the other game for.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I downloaded it.
Oh, you got that one?
Yeah.
Cool. But yeah, Forza 6 was the one for the second half of this month, and then I haven't seen what they're announcing for next month's yet.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling it'll probably be,
Something
more lead up to some of the other stuff coming
Hopefully
down.
something decent. But I did download, speaking of bashing heads, I did add a complimentary game to Tomb Raider. So I downloaded Dead Rising 4.
Oh,
Just needed a brawler to run around and kill zombies,
Yeah, you were talking about that in the pre-show. The whole thing with the t-shirt gun is
yeah.
not as useful as you think.
It is not very useful. So I thought I was the man of the hour. I could take on this gang in the mall. They had AKs, and all I had was a t-shirt gun. Obviously, one side wins, one side doesn't.
Yeah, I kind of think it was a little one-sided there.
But then I came back with a go-kart, and I just started driving over things. So then I won. They lost.
Now I'm thinking of that comedy, Don't Be a Menace to South Central while drinking your gin and juice.
Yeah,
and the scene where it's like there's this whole escalation until finally he opens up the storage unit and is like, do we have a problem?
Oh yeah. Well, there's no problem in this mall. You can grab anything and make a weapon. Anything to make it do a weapon.
That's what I loved. I loved that about the Dead Rising games, and I never got to mess with it in Dead Rising. Is it 4?
It's 4.
4 is the mechanic, right?
No, you go back to playing as Frank West in 4.
No, 3 then. 3 is the one where you're the mechanic.
Yeah, I never played 3. I played 1.
You had 3, didn't you?
Mm-mm.
No?
Mm-mm. I was going to buy it. I never did. But I played 1 and 2. 2 was really fun because you were in Vegas and there was a lot of cool weapons in there. But this one looks like it's going to be even more fun. A lot more combinations and a lot more crazier zombies that I'm coming to learn.
Well, the zombie trope is kind of getting stale.
It is stale, but they got these hyper violent zombies in this game, and they make you run.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's a good compliment to Tomb Raider. So on top of thinking puzzle game, I had this just running around brawler.
Oh, speaking of puzzle games, I gotta thank Robbie for this one. I downloaded an oldie but goodie.
Is it a mobile game?
It is. It is
I'd
Lemmings. The end of life as we know it.
It is the end of life as we know it, because then I gotta go find it.
Sony Interactive Entertainment. It's like, hey, got little worlds. You have to, do the lemming thing. And it's like, I only played it a little bit when it initially came out on PC.
And now you got it on your hand. Hell.
Yeah, it's already a time suck.
Hey, we have to have those time sucks.
Well, that, and I also downloaded Tetris.
Okay, more time suck.
Yeah, because you're just like...
And then it's 4 a.m. and you'd be like, what happened with my life?
Right? I'm getting close to that whole level 10 thing, but...
It
Big
works.
marathon.
Yep. Marathon. Keep going until finally you just can't keep up with it, or you realize... I always start marathon at level 1 too, so it's like, oh, I'm at level 8. I think I've been playing this a little while.
I know there will be some more games in the future for me. I know the next one I'm going to purchase is Borderlands 3.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get into that one.
I have a lot of friends adamant for me to get that game, so
it's not really in my budget to buy that one. But I've liked the Borderlands games. I have yet to finish one. I've only played 2.
I've only played 2,
and I've barely gotten very far in 2. It's one of the few times I've actually multiplayered with somebody, and that was another former coworker of ours.
I think I played with them too.
So it's like, oh, okay, cool. But I kind of have this mix of some friends are on PC, some are on PlayStation, and I've only got really Xbox to play on.
Well, you got me to play on Xbox.
Yeah, we haven't done a crew thing in a while, but scheduling is rough.
We can game here with our mouths.
Yeah.
And thoughts and ideas. Darn.
You ready to roll into our newsworthy stuff, or?
Sounds like a plan. There's a big bulk that's going to take up majority of it.
Oh yeah, and that's the fact that this past weekend was Disney's D23, which is their whole private little expo for all the Disney shows and all the Disney
little expo
projects.
Is like a big control of the world.
Oh, I mean, they have so many different things they can talk about. It's like, oh yeah,
they own a lot of properties out there. So you just the mouse is just like, ho, buy my plan.
Oh yeah, especially with Disney Plus coming out in a couple of months.
That is going to be a juggernaut from everything that they showcased for that, and just the subscription base for a lot of things on that thing, and just the potential that can happen down the road. Disney Plus is going to be a monster.
Oh yeah. And there are some things that I felt were kind of like, oh God, please tell me they didn't decide to do that. But the High School Musical, the series.
You have a big fan over here on our left of that.
You talking about it's? I heard that and I'm just like, what? And then I heard what it was. It was, how do we recapture the magic of High School Musical, the movie? We are going to have a new generation putting on a play that is that movie.
Hey, whatever works.
I heard that and I was like, okay, it's Disney. I was never big on High School Musical, but I know that it had some kind of success.
Well,
and it gave us, quite a few characters.
Yeah, and a prominent actor in Zac Efron.
Yeah.
Baby.
I guess I'm not the baby anymore.
No, you're not.
Okay.
Well,
Turn in the keys. Walk away.
No.
Okay.
So, but there was that. They had a bunch of other series and shows they announced.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline.
Oh, yeah. I mean, kind of touch on the lighter stuff with, let's see, where do you want to start?
Well, I did...
a lot of notes here for
There's
this.
a lot of notes, but I did do some major highlights from D23.
Okay.
We can start at the top with Star Wars.
Oh, yeah, the elephant in the room.
Yeah, the elephant in the room will just come out swinging with the juggernaut. Well, one of the juggernauts, but...
Yeah.
So...
Let's see, let's go with... since Disney Plus is coming out first, and the first thing on Disney Plus at launch will be The Mandalorian.
They dropped the trailer for The Mandalorian, and I got to say, I was dancing in my boots when I saw that trailer, and then I watched it again another 23 times and got excited even more.
Now, D23 does not mean you have to watch every trailer 23 times.
I know, just that specific trailer. And there's a reason why I'm so excited about The Mandalorian, because it does give the potential of more storytelling outside of the Skywalker bubble, because it is a galaxy. Yeah. And this is going to be exploring one of the parts of the galaxy that has been hinted at for so many times, the bounty hunters.
Yeah, and I'm liking it because it's the whole Western thing.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that it's Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni working on it, it's like, okay.
A good producer and a good writer, so,
I mean, I've been nothing but impressed with everything Dave Filoni has come out with, so, hey. He's attached. I'm good.
Yeah. And it gives a greater expansion of the world. We get to see different characters, new designs. We get to explore a part of the story that we don't know, because this takes place after Return of the Jedi. Mm-hmm. So it takes place in that 30-year window between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens, which you have a 30-year gap. This is just the tip of the iceberg of storytelling.
The Age of Resistance.
Oh, yes.
They're calling it.
So, well, the story is going to be interesting because it centers around the bounty hunters trying to help and somebody in the Imperial that's trying to get away, trying to sneak away, kind of like AKA like the Nazis sneaking off the Argentina kind of drill.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. It's only going to be 8 episodes, so they're going to do one a week.
One a week. Well, that'll keep people excited for the next one. And Jon Favreau's already writing season 2, so.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it'll be greenlit well into that.
But like you said, the aspect of the Western, I always like it when they do genre bending with different properties. Kind of like here, they're combining Western style elements with fantasy.
And not like goofy Westerns. I mean, we're talking like
serious Westerns, like
Man with No Name. Any of Clint Eastwood's early Western films were like real kind of gritty.
Unforgiven. You got. It's just I'm just drawing a blank, but there's a lot of good Westerns.
Yeah, and the whole thing for the lone kind of this whole Outrim thing. I like that. And I like Mandalorian, so I know a lot of other people do.
So if this is a success, this will give more credence to them doing more storytelling with new characters in this huge galaxy.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I guess we're going to go chronological, and that is the next thing would be the fact episode 9. They dropped a new kind of
a special look where they built up to some new screens by showcasing all the previous films.
Yeah, I like that, and I actually kind of like, and I think it was a good service to fans where they didn't go with the story in numeral order. They went with release order.
Yeah,
I thought that was really good, but I'm definitely curious to see how this goes. There's a lot of theories flying around about it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different things they showcase. They showcased a lot more. They showcased the group. They showcased some space fights. They showcased there's a couple interesting things. One I didn't realize till after listening to other podcasts, but the obvious one is Rey with the double wielding lightsabers, the red double wielding.
Yeah, the red double blade staff lightsaber. And it looks like it's in the same kind of vein as Kylo Ren's, which is an older, unrefined lightsaber.
So it begs the question of exactly what is Rey up to with dealing with the Force? Because you have the light side and the dark side. Is she bending toward the other way? Is she melding both? Is you're the Star Wars expert?
Well, I think it would actually be interesting that Rey does go dark, and because you can already tell from watching it, at least in my humble opinion, Kylo Ren isn't as dark as he wants to be.
I've always theorized since the beginning that Rey would be the reason that Kylo Ren comes back to the light.
Well, I think it's more or less that Rey has a lot more baggage, so to speak. And if you look at, what are the things that lead you down the path of the dark side? Rey seems to have more of those than Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
Kylo Ren, and I think that Rise of Skywalker will kind of play on the whole Return of the Jedi, where it's the Vader arc on that was coming from the dark back to the light. I think Kylo is going to drop this Kylo Ren persona and embrace the fact that he is Ben Solo and that he is part of the Skywalker line. I think that would seem, now that could be the most logical thing given what we're talking about and hearing on some of the other stuff. I think I'm waiting to see how it goes, and there's another bit out there with if you are familiar with some of the expanding universe stuff and some of the new things in the canon that they've done through like Battlefront 2 story and some other things. Palpatine somehow comes back, and he may come back and possess Rey. So Rey may be dark side only because she's being possessed by Palpatine.
Oh yeah, and we do know he is coming back.
There's no mistaking that voice.
Oh yeah,
and he will be in that same group. It's like he has been in all 3 chapters. So I'm looking forward to how that would play out. He
has his foothold in a lot of things, and if they play credence to a lot of the, even if they pull like bits and pieces from the expanded universe that thrown out at canon, which they have done. They brought bits and pieces.
They've been bringing in a lot of
so
it,
there could be a lot of mimicry where he comes
There's
back.
even rumors that they're going to reshoot old scenes and just from a different perspective.
It might be interesting.
So I'm curious. I'm not sure.
I hope there's a third enemy in there, because that would definitely throw a wrench into a lot of things and create some
and that
unpredictability.
leads into what you were saying, which now that we rewatched it, I could see that it's like there's that scene with the whole armada, and it's like these are the Carillion builds.
Yeah, it's
these
the old school. Those were the original Imperial fleets, which nobody's talking about because of the red lightsabers, and only people that would pick up on it are true Star Wars fans.
Oh yeah, the Carillion ISDs. It's like, yeah, that's a little interesting.
And we do know, you can confirm me if this is wrong, that there are remnants of the original Imperial fleet that dispersed out to the Outer Rim after the Return of the Jedi.
Oh yeah, they're even talking about that with the Mandalorian. Is like the Empire. Let's be realistic. The Emperor being killed at the end of Return of the Jedi did not end the Empire. It shattered it. There were people who liked how the Empire did things. There are people who thrived, and there are people who wanted to hold on to that.
Yeah.
Which is why it isn't the Emperor is gone, everyone part. No, that's the whole thing with the Galactic Senate. There was way too many star systems for something that is that happy of an ending.
Yeah, that vast, that diverse. All you did is just fracture it into different elements. So
there's going to be a lot of it, and that's what probably gave room for the First Order to rise up with Snoke. But Palpatine has also known that there were threats outside, and he had some type of longevity plan. I mean,
it's
even
been
Legend stuff. He has been obsessed with immortality, and he did discover quite a few Force secrets. So I'm sure a lot of that will play into this, which will be interesting to see.
There's a lot of unknowns in that Outer Rim, and if they play on...
Well, it's even the stuff beyond the Outer Rim.
Yeah.
Like where the Chiss Ascendancy is hanging out in the Grisk. It's like, there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of threats.
Yeah, there's stuff that even the Force can't counter. So it'd be interesting to see if that plays into this final episode or plays into other movie or TV related stuff down the road.
Yeah, which the story group, I'm sure, is working very hard on that, which
I'm excited for is the other stories.
Yes. Speaking of those other stories, is the fact that we are going to have another series on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
It probably will not show until 2021.
But it was one that was rumored out there, but it has been confirmed. They're working on an Obi-Wan Kenobi series, and Ewen McGregor's returning back.
Oh yeah, that was a great whole thing where they had the president of Lucasfilms, who, love her or hate her or whatever, she's at the top. She brought Ewen McGregor out, and he's like, ask me the question, ask me. She asks, and he's like, yes, he's going to be coming back, and it's going to be centered in the same period that the Solo movie covers.
So between episode 3 and 4?
Yep. So
the further adventures of kind of idea.
Yeah, well, it should be nice because we have that whole post-credit in Solo with Darth Maul.
Yeah.
Because there's a bit of story in between that scene with Darth Maul, the end of Clone Wars, what happened to Darth Maul, and where we find him in Rebels, season 2. Yeah. So there's like 10 to 15 years there. What happened? He was the height of a criminal empire, and then it crashed to where he's hanging out on this Sith world at Rebels. It's like, what is going to happen here?
They got a lot of chances to do some good storytelling there.
Oh yeah, and Dave Filoni is just an amazing storyteller with his crew. But
it's like, take my money now, please. Just take.
So there's our Star Wars stuff. Okay, the next giant creature in the room is Marvel.
Yeah, Marvel, they talked about a lot of stuff, They gave some release date for things like Black Panther 2 is going to be in May 2022. May 2022, and a few other things. But some interesting tidbits were some of the new announced series that are going to come out.
Let's start with the latest member of the MCU.
Which one?
Jon Snow.
Oh, yes. Okay, you brought me
Jon Snow
back.
is coming to the Eternals.
Yeah, Kit Harrington is going to be, I believe it's called Black Knight is the name of the character in the Eternals.
That seems a stretch considering what he just finished playing.
Yeah.
I
believe it's called the Black Knight. I could be wrong, but I believe...
We'll see how that comes out.
But yeah, he's going to be cast in the Eternals, which is an interesting property coming down the road, but it's going to help expand the MCU in bigger ways.
Yeah.
So it's a prelude to everything.
So we know from Comic-Con they announced all these series and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
From there, leading into this, they decided, hey, we're not done announcing stuff. They announced 3 new series coming to Disney Plus.
Yeah, and all of these are going to be part of Phase 4.
Mm-hmm.
So, so some interesting one. The 3 that they announced were She-Hulk.
Yep.
Miss Marvel.
Yep.
And the one that rattled the cages of fans in the community, comic book nerds specifically, is Moonknight.
Yes.
Which is a character that I'm excited, but not because I know about him, because I don't know.
Yes, he's a smaller.
Yeah.
He's a big. He's got some good history. And
yeah.
To be honest, I think when we get Professor Penumbra back with us. He's got some family stuff he's doing. We wish him everything, all the prayers and love for that. But once he comes back to us, we're definitely going to be cornering him.
We need to
talk Moonknight.
That was a one
She-Hulk,
character.
to talk Miss Marvel, because the Miss Marvel they're talking about is not the one that's Captain Marvel.
No,
this is a newer one. I believe in the
Kamala
comics.
Khan.
Yeah.
She's of Muslim descent, and her hero is Captain Marvel. So that's why she picks up the name of Marvel when she gets her powers.
So that'll be... I'm looking forward to having that discussion. So we will probably beat him up over... Or not so much beat him up, because we don't want to invoke violence, but corner him and have him talk.
Slightly tap on the shoulders.
Yes.
But especially Moonknight, because we know that he's a huge fan of Moonknight.
Moonknight was his first comic book. He is all about the character, so I'm curious to see what he brings, and he's got some, and let's hear what his hopes and concerns are.
Yeah, there's always a plus and a minus when it comes to you're near and dear to a property, and you hope that they do best, but at the same time you gotta understand they gotta adapt it for the medium that it's going to be in.
Mm-hmm.
So from what I know on the surface of Moonknight, I know he's a character that was beaten to inch of his life, and the god, the Egyptian moon god is the one that brought him back. But the one interesting tidbit about Moonknight, he has multiple personalities.
Yes, he's got the billionaire, he's got the Moon Knight, he's got the espionage. So he's definitely very interesting,
crazy.
Yeah,
but it's crazy that plays into good storytelling for that character.
I think I'm going to hold judgment until we start hearing casting.
Yes,
because I think casting is going to make or break on that.
If you can find somebody that can play multiple characters, like James McAvoy did in Split, then I'm not saying him, but somebody of that caliber that can play multiple personalities, it will show.
Well, one of the rumors was they were trying to get Keanu Reeves for Moon Knight.
Well, he is supposedly being talked to for a Marvel role.
Yeah, but they have to find the right role, and the Russo brothers have commented that they think he would be a really good candidate for the Moon Knight character.
Yeah,
we shall see. I think I'm not worried so much about the storytelling, because Marvel has been doing really good at storytelling.
Yeah,
Phase 4 might be, so far with the previous 23 films,
they've pretty much done pretty well, up and down.
So I think with that kind of history then coming in, I'm sure the storytelling side will be good. I'm sure the directing will be interesting, but it's the casting that I'm really. And I think it's
really good that they're turning that property into a series instead of a movie, because it gives them more wiggle room for storytelling, especially with his background, that character's background.
And She-Hulk is the other one I'm curious. I'm looking forward to, because I like the concept of She-Hulk.
Oh yeah, I know a little bit about She-Hulk. So
What do you know about She-Hulk?
I know that she is a cousin to Bruce Banner, and she had a blood transfusion, which causes her to turn into She-Hulk, and that she's also a lawyer.
Yep.
And that's pretty much all I know.
That's just the thing that just like, how much fun are we gonna have with this?
Oh yeah, how are you gonna balance? You're gonna balance the idea of being a lawyer. So you got a court drama mixed in with superhero genre. So it'll be an interesting mix.
Yes, very much so. So I'm looking forward to see how those come out. And those are all slated for like 2021, 2022.
It'll sneak in there with the other series, which we have a plethora of those to look forward to.
Oh yeah, we got a whole lot with WandaVision. We have Falcon and Winter Soldier, and Sharon Carter is coming back.
Oh yeah, the What If series.
The What Ifs. It's lots of fun there. All right, next thing for D23.
You have Disney and Pixar.
Disney Pixar. They had a lot of showings this time.
Yeah, they had a lot of different stuff that came up. Some big tidbits. One of them was the one that I highlighted. Even my dad picked up on was the live action Lady and the Tramp.
Yep.
Which looks like it's going to be interesting. And anytime you put dogs on the screen, you already got my heart.
Oh, when they did there was a little kind of snippet, like just a real kind of taste to hit all the highlights.
Oh, yeah.
And when they talked about this, they actually brought the two dogs out on stage for everybody to see. So, but it'll be interesting because this is a feature-length film.
Yes.
That is only being released in Disney Plus. This isn't a theater release.
Oh yeah.
So
I had to educate my dad on that.
So it'll be good to see how that goes.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting, just because of it puts a highlight on that they trust that this property will do well on their platform.
Well, considering all this competition they've got rolling right out the gate. I mean, Apple is going to have their TV service running with their content. We have Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, and now Disney Plus. So they got to have more than just TV series and allowing you to watch all the previously released created films.
Yeah, a variety of films, shows, and other things. So.
Yeah, another good one is that Monsters at Work TV series.
Oh yeah, I saw a couple stills from it, so it's definitely another kind of expanding the universe within a property. So you get to see different monsters, a different way of life that happens outside of the two main characters.
Oh yeah, I'd be nice to see if they do bring back Sully and I can't remember the green one. Mike. They have Mike and Sully in there somehow.
Oh, yeah.
I know when we ended the original Monsters Inc., Sully and Mike were running the place.
Oh yeah. So, did they say where this series picks up at?
Not that I've heard yet, but I'm sure we'll hear more about it.
Yeah, I would think that they would show up in some way, but not be like the main central thing. So, which will be good because they'll expand on the universe there.
Soul and
Onward. Yeah. Pixar went and gave a little more tidbits on their next two projects coming out next year.
Okay.
Which is Soul, which is supposed to be centered around, baby souls, where I guess before they become, actual human beings, there's a waiting list, kind of like a trial by fire. So they're playing on the trope similar like Inside Out. So it's another original piece from them. So it'd be interesting to see how they spin that idea of baby souls becoming certain personalities. And then Onward is just Onward is a one where they're taking the fantasy trope and flipping it upside down, where they're placing all the fantasy ideas but within a modern day setting.
Oh wow!
So it follows a group of monsters that want to find out if magic is still real in their world. So these two properties come out next year.
Do we know anybody on casting?
I know Jamie Foxx is a voice cast in Soul. And on the other one, I know Tom Holland is one of the voice casts in Onward. And there's some other big names, I just don't know off the top of my head.
Chris Pratt, I think.
Yeah, Chris Pratt's also in Onward.
So Chris Pratt and Tom Holland. This should be fun.
Yeah.
We have something else here. Was it Raya and the Lost Dragon?
Yeah, Raya and the Lost Dragon is Disney's animated studio's next project.
Okay.
And it's going to be released sometime in the next year or two. And then what one centers around. It's centered around, obviously, something with dragons.
It's a fantasy one. Dragon stories are always interesting.
So the synopsis is it centers around a lone warrior from the fantasy kingdom of Kamandra who teams up with a crew of misfits in her quest to find the last dragon and bring light and unity back to their world. So it's a play on fantasy ideas, but it looks like...
Sounds like it's also playing into some of the other studio films, like, what was it? They had Bigfoot, and they had another one that seems very similar.
So they're saying that this film is being inspired by Southeast Asian myths, where it's going to be placed within the Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia creative area. So it's going to play on those mythos and beliefs from that area. So it'd be another kind of spin for Disney, like how they did Moana and some of their other newer properties. So, pulling on the cultural thread to expand their storytelling. And
Moana was really good.
Oh, yes. Enjoyed Moana a lot.
Speaking of culture and whatnot, you have a note here about Mulan. Do we have some more news or more info?
They showcased a little bit more.
Okay.
So it gives you more of what they're going for, which is a more realistic tone, placing it within the Asian setting. So it'll see how it actually does at the box office next year. It comes out in March.
The cat's hanging out with us today.
Meow.
So, all right, and I think the last thing on our list is we got to have a unscripted reality type show, and what better than to have
Jeff Goldblum. Just the idea that he's getting his own show is awesome. That's all I need to know.
He's got his own. He's got to show the world the world according to Jeff Goldblum. And when they did that montage of highlights, him coming out, he had the most outlandish outfit on. It's like,
you can't expect anything less. It's Jeff Goldblum. He's got to be his full Goldblumiest.
Yeah.
And just an unscripted show with him at the helm is just going to make life better.
Oh yeah, I think it'll be fun. I love the commercials we see him do.
So, anything to add on top of any of the big announcements from D23?
No.
Anything that catches your eye?
No, I haven't heard about some of the other stuff. They did announce they are talking about having Star Wars: The Clone Wars come back.
Yeah, I do know they're bringing that back, which is an amazing thing. I'm looking forward to
seeing how that goes.
Clone Wars is an amazing show, so it'd be good to see it come back.
Yeah. All right, so some other stuff. Let's see. Well, not only do we have D23 stateside, but we also had GamesCom in Europe this past weekend as well. So what kind of... Looks like we have some highlights here from that.
Yeah, there's a few highlights over there.
Why don't you kick us off? What's the first thing you want to talk about?
I know they... something we mentioned last week, they did finally showcased some gameplay from the Marvel's Avengers game that's being developed by Crystal Dynamics.
Oh, really?
So it showcased all the different characters that you'll be able to play.
Did you watch the whole thing through? I think you mentioned last week you only watched the first two.
I only watched enough to showcase Thor and Iron Man, and I still didn't watch past that because I'm the kind of person that doesn't want the game spoiled. So I only watched enough to get an understanding of what the game mechanics are. So it looks like it showcases typical gameplay when it comes to RPG mechanics for different character classes.
Mm-hmm.
So you got your tank, your brawler, your range weapon, and your aerial fighters and stuff, which is being built for the characters themselves. So you got Thor, Iron Man, Captain America, Black Widow, Hawkeye, and Hulk. So you kind of get the idea of how their skill sets and powers work within the environment.
This is going to be one of those things you switch from character to character.
From what they showcase, it's the beginning. So it's the prologue. So in the prologue, it highlights each of the characters. So you get to play as each of the characters. What happens during the rest of the game, they still didn't showcase any of that. But they did highlight that, there should be some kind of co-op play happening throughout the game. But it's not open world. It's more linear, so you're just playing through stage-like environments. So there's no moving around except for within the stage that you're in.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it seems to capture that same fighting mechanic that Spider-Man had on PS4, but with the different types because of you have Iron Man, Thor, and you get to utilize their powers and skill sets more.
Interesting.
So it looks like a typical action adventure game that could definitely keep you entertained for a few hours.
All right. So we'll just kind of rapid fire through some of the rest of these. Need for Speed Heat.
Oh yeah, they did talk to the co-creator of the people that are doing the new Need for Speed. So they revealed some gameplay. They said they're going to have a companion app, character customization. There is a day and night system that affects police behavior, so it'd be interesting to see how police. Anybody that's played Need for Speed games know that police come chasing you down.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that they're going to have a day and night system shows a more organic approach to how the police behavior are going to have in the game.
Well, compared to some of the other car-based games that have been coming out, you're getting more environmental factors.
Yeah, it says cars are going to have health bars, so I guess there's definitely you're going to have to watch out for your damage, and you can't play as cops, so you're just straight racers this time. Going back old school, like Need for Speed 3.
All right, let's see. PubG crossplay.
Yeah, that's a big thing, and it's one thing I've been talking about over the last few weeks on this podcast, which I kept saying that crossplay is going to be a big player, especially after Call of Duty Modern Warfare said they're going to do it at launch when they launch later this year. So now that PUBG's jumped on the bandwagon of crossplay, it just gives more advent to that. All the big major console makers are getting on board with the fact that there's going to be more universal applications down the road.
Okay.
Because PUBG is a big shooter out there.
Speaking of crossplay, what we have here, Cyberpunk 2077 is going to come out on the Google Stadia?
Yes, Google Stadia was at Gamescom highlighting their system, which is just a play in browser, but we already talked about that. But one of the highlights is that Cyberpunk 2077 is going to come to their system, which is actually, regardless of how you feel about their system, that's a pretty big grab for them, because Cyberpunk is a game, one of the most anticipated games of next year.
Not an exclusivity, but it's going, obviously, because Microsoft has the exclusivity, but they're going to be doing some of this other stuff.
So it gives credence that Google's new console might be a major player in the next few years.
Okay. Let's see, another cross-play thing. We have The Witcher 3.
Yeah, Witcher 3, they did give an announce date for the Switch.
Oh.
October 15th. It's tempting.
Tempting?
Yeah, because that The Witcher 3 is one of my favorite games I've played in the last 10 years.
Oh, yeah, I have yet to sit down to go through it all.
Yeah, it's one of the best games I've ever played.
Now you're going to tell me I can put it I'll put it on the mobile console?
It's so tempting to buy it, play it again, but I already have enough games to play, so I can actually put it to the side and say no.
That's fair.
But you should probably pick it up on the handheld.
Well, I need to get a Switch first.
Well, yeah. We can.
All right. Let's see. Since we know it's getting into September and Gears 5 is about to release, and it looks like they're bringing back their horde mode.
Yeah, they did announce that the horde mode's coming back for Gears 5, which you know a little bit more about the horde.
I know a little bit because some other games have had it, and this was a thing with Gears 2, I believe. It's basically you hold the line, and after wave, and the waves get more intense as they come through.
It's definitely going to be a fun mechanic to play, especially with this new Gears game. And since
I'm looking forward to the story. I've always been more interested in the Gears story than anything else.
They also mentioned that there's going to be a Steam version for Gears 5.
Nice. All right, now here's the one, because this game is just so out there and trying to get info on it, and that's Death Stranding.
Yeah, Death Stranding. They did highlight some.
I've
more
heard
stuff
some really weird things about that one.
They did release actually some uncut, unofficial gameplay of it, and it still looks weird.
Well, I think there was some comment about mushrooms and urine, and it was just weird.
Supposedly, they built in a mechanic where you can actually pee, I don't know why that's important, but it might be important with it. They also discussed the multiplayer component for Death Stranding, where they said, I think people aren't quite fully ready for what Kojima's doing. So we are just opening up a can of worms and falling down that rabbit hole with this game. Yeah. It might be good, it might be bad, but it's definitely one that will have eyebrows raised, because everything I've seen about this game has just been WTH. This is the only game I've ever seen, video for or talked about that I have no idea what to expect for this game.
All we know is it's Kojima, and Kojima has quite the history when it comes
if you've
to
played
game
any of the
properties.
Metal Gear Solid games, then his storytelling goes out there sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Especially Metal Gear Solid 2. There's some really strange stuff that happened at the end of that game where it makes you go WTH, H, H, H.
Mm-hmm.
H.
See a little blurb here about Instagram?
Yeah, I did come across an interesting tidbit on Gizmodo, where it says Instagram is reportedly building a new messaging app named Threads. So, which is interesting because Instagram is owned by Facebook, which already has a messaging app. So it's kind of like counterintuitive in my, but
I guess we'll just have to wait to see. It's one of those random things.
Yeah.
So I guess this is random news.
But it's just one of those things where they're trying to just battle up against Snapchat, which Snapchat is a big app used by the the young crowd out there.
Actually, I think I would say it's not so much Snapchat, it's more TikTok.
Okay. Well, I don't really touch on TikTok, so I don't know, but I'm not part of the in crowd, so.
Yeah,
but
TikTok seems to be the more popular. Snapchat was kind of a flash in the pan comparatively, but
it's like Vine.
Yeah.
That got popular way back.
And then kind of just died off.
Oh yeah, I need something more than just 5-second videos to keep me entertained. But I'm not part of this crowd.
Some of the people who are doing videos on TikTok, they really put some production value in there.
Oh yeah.
There was some because there was a couple I've seen where it's like Critical Role. They have their episodes where there are people who will cosplay the characters and then use the dialogue from the show as voiceover. And some of them, it's quite a bit of production value goes into those.
Naruto.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
A lot of anime stuff.
It's interesting to look into, but from what the article is saying about this new messaging app, Threads is designed as a sister app for Instagram and invites users to automatically share their location, speed, and battery life with members of an Instagram user's close friend list, along with more typical text, photo, and video messaging using Instagram's creative tools. So it just seems like it's building on friends lists and everything. So it goes on and says, in other words, Threads appears to be designed to allow a select list of friends to receive regular automatic updates on a user's locations, speed, and more.
Make sure to send me that link so that I can keep it in the show notes.
Oh yes.
Snapchat. You can see your location.
Says Threads also has a section where messages from friends appear in a central feed, along with the green dot indicating which of your friends are currently active. So it seems just to be just like a central hub for your friends list.
Yeah, I'm kind of happy with the current interface, so I don't really need that. But hey,
it's just another thing that you can do.
Yeah.
Just an interesting tech tidbit out there. There's not big tech news out there other than that.
It's like Snapchat. You can see your friends.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of people on Snapchat, so I'm glad.
I don't need people to find me.
Alrighty, so that covers all the news, covers all the cons from the weekend. Wow. I think we're just about done.
Yeah, there's not really much going on. I didn't go out and see a movie this weekend because, as if you've heard me on previous podcasts, August is the dumping grounds near the end of the month. And one of the things is that right around this time it's the lowest revenue part of the season for movies. And actually, Labor Day weekend is known as the lowest revenue gathering for movies out there because nobody goes to see movies on Labor Day weekend. There's a lot of other things going on. It's the first weekend for college football. You have the U.S. Open, and it's the last hurrah of the summer season. So people are doing a lot of other things than wanting to go to the movies.
Oh yeah, and you have quite a number of regions along the country that have already started school.
College and high school.
Yep.
Or various schools.
All schools.
Yes.
Granted, I think our area school doesn't start until the Tuesday after Labor Day.
Which is good because, you got a lot of festivals going on around here. You got the American Music Festival, stuff in Chesapeake, Norfolk, and everywhere
I think
else.
This might be the last time Virginia Beach does it.
Oh, does what?
Start school after Labor Day.
Oh, yeah, they did announce that they're going to move it before.
I think with that, we've kind of covered our to-do list for the day.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the big things was GamesCom and D23, so the only big thing coming up is It Part 2, which will be next week.
It Part 2 is next week?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So you'll go watch that next weekend?
Yeah, next weekend. So might have watch a movie. I'll have to see what's on the down low, see if there's any indie film out there I've missed. Yeah,
that or we can talk story ideas for that upcoming Teens on Parade starting.
Drop some fireworks. Kaboom boom.
Yeah, well, most I've got is the airship they'll be on, and then try to think of what would be a good first episode to kind of, because this is character development type stuff. Get to knowing all the characters.
Definitely look into doing that.
I know I just picked up the source books for D&D Beyond, which is, if you're not familiar, D&D Beyond is an app that is produced by Wizards of the Coast that allows you to create and manage characters in campaigns. And they have a feature for the subscription that I have where I can share the books that I own digitally with any player I have in my in a campaign.
Yeah.
And I had run into some difficulties with some of my players wanted to have these characters that are the features are in the source books, and while I can look at it because a friend shared content with me, my players can't see it. Yeah. So I was like, let's just, because it's a really great interface for managing characters, I put it out there so that they could picked up the source books so the kids can all see their character options and can flesh out and build their characters and try to get them to work on that whole character concept, like what is the core of this character. I think my son has come up with something he wants to do, kind of a plague doctor type thing. And I had spent the time to really flesh it out. And it's like, can I get this and this? It's like, oh, how? Justify it. Explain it to me. So, it'll be interesting.
Definitely stuff to look forward to.
Well, I have some characters I need to create. So maybe we could work on that next time.
Build it up.
Yeah, all the tech news is great. Let's, maybe we can kind of focus on some of the tabletop type things.
I am down for whatever.
Alrighty.
Let's venture off into the sunset.
Something to look forward to then, right?
Vamos.
Alrighty. Well, with that, everybody have a good week, good weekend. Love each other. Have a good time. And we will see you here next time.
Peace.